Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. And hope you're having a wonderful start to your day. And we sure appreciate when you can come on live. Of course, it's always fun. And you know what's really fun? Is saying hello. We love that. Look at Andrea's coming on right at the top. They know how to get on early. Brahim right behind her. And Rosalinda from Niagara Falls and Nativity. I don't know how you guys do it, but you do it. Patricia, Florida, and Yvonne is in Petawawa. Hi, Lisa. And we appreciate you coming on. Thank you. Wendy from Markham. And Kevin, there he is, the mayor of this program. Tarais. And Lucille, Nellie, good morning to ya. Fran, how are you from Orangeville? Lorraine, British Columbia, bright and early. And Cheryl, West Virginia. And you know me, Cheryl, I'd love to sing. And Judy. And Ashley Anna. Vanda, how are you? And let's see, who's next? Hi, Lynn from Aurora. Thanks for saying hello, guys. We appreciate it. Tina, Nova Scotia. Cecilia in Nouveau Brunswick. And Brahim is saying hi to Kevin. Janice, Santa Fe. Dennis, Helga from Scarborough. Yolande. Bon matin. Sandra, Espanola. Lise, how are you? And Dr. Troy Bennett, good friend out in Newfoundland. Amber in New Jersey. Sandy from Fergus Falls, Minnesota. Diane from Peterborough, Ontario. Karen. Anne. Annie, really, right? You'd be called, like being called Annie. Darlene. Sylvia from Mississippi. Bruno in North Bay, Ontario. Cheryl, Lighthouse Cove. Meta. And Marilyn, Charlottetown. Arlene, how are you? Mara, nice to have you on. Sue. Okay, guys, couple of more. We got quite a few studies I want to look at. Sandy, Janine. Everybody's saying hi to Kev. Kev's scroll is not working the way it used to. Beverly. Sherry from Mississauga. Debbie, Sturgeon Falls. Millica from Stouffville. Brandon. And Darlene. And Luella. Hi, Luella, West Tennessee. Will I see you on Saturday? VJ. And Jeanette. Hi. I can't see them. They're going by too fast. And Wendy from Aylmer. Okay. Janice. Okay. I was asking if Luella, who I've never met, but we see all the time on this program, she says hello, is in West Tennessee. Well, heading to West Tennessee, Martin, Tennessee, to be exact, Saturday, speaking at the University of Tennessee there, and doing a conference. Looking forward to it. And we'll meet up with our dear friend of this program, Dr. Angela McEwen, okay, who is a professor of psychology there. And anyway, should be interesting. Looking forward to it. And if you're in that area at all, well, there's an invitation to come out to the University of Tennessee on Saturday morning. Okay. I think Doc McEwen posted it in our private Facebook group, and I'll do it again today. Okay, let's do some studies. Just a reminder, because I'm heading to Tennessee. Friday, traveling. Okay? Friday, traveling, so no program. So Q&A will be tomorrow. Okay? Q&A will be tomorrow. So just giving you a heads up. Okay? Traveling Friday, Q&A Thursday. Okay? So send your questions in to info@martinclinic.com. Now, the microbiome. There's all sorts of studies, always fascinating. The microbiome, one of the biggest frontiers in medicine. Exciting. What's coming out from those little bacteria, the good, bad, and ugly. And a couple of studies, one of them I sort of half mentioned last week. Kids on antibiotics in their first couple of years of life, it affects them down the road. Studies are showing they're 20% more likely to be to suffer from obesity. So the microbiome does a lot of things, including affecting even hormones later on. Obesity, 20% increased. And here's a new one that just came out that I flagged in the last few days. Antibiotics and depression. That, again, okay, they're talking about kids on antibiotics. And if you're new to this program, I've been talking about the double-edged sword of antibiotics for a long time, okay? I am one of the biggest fans of antibiotics if you need one. Save millions of people's lives. The problem is, it carpet bombs your microbiome. Antibiotics carpet bomb the microbiome. Both, and here's what we're finding out. Both at your southern border, inside your body, you got a border, the southern border, between your gut and your blood. And then you have, okay, think of the northern border. Not between Canada and the United States, but between your blood and your brain. You got two borders in your body. And they work perfectly well. It's amazing. We knew so little about either one of them for so long. Didn't know exactly how they worked. But we know a lot more today. And when people take an antibiotic, guys, okay, what choice do you have sometimes, right? Could save your life. So who in the world has never been on an antibiotic? I mean, I bet you 99.9% of everyone watching me today has been on an antibiotic in their lifetime. And some, several. When I wrote my book on chronic fatigue syndrome, this is 30-something years ago, I talked about the use of antibiotics. And there was a consistent in the study that we did, in the history taking that we did, there was a history of antibiotic use in people who suffered from chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia. I wrote about it. And this was 30-something years ago, guys. I was talking about leaky gut way back then. Antibiotics carpet bomb your microbiome at both borders. And so you better replace that. And one of the things that antibiotics do, and this is, again, can affect you down the road without replacing that microbiome properly and the balance between the good, bad, and ugly. If you don't replace it, you're much more likely, it says in this study, to suffer from depression later on. What's the connection? Well, first of all, remember, you make more feel-good hormones in your gut than you do in your brain. And the gut and the brain are connected. We know that through your 10th cranial nerve. Of course, your blood, but your 10th cranial nerve, your vagus nerve, not Las Vegas. Okay? It connects your brain to your gut. When you get butterflies, you're nervous. What is that? Well, that's your 10th cranial nerve. You got more hormones in your gut. Feel-good hormones in your gut. Well, what happens if they're carpet bombed? What happens if the gut is compromised? And I'm not even talking, guys, I'm not even talking about digestive symptoms. That's leaky gut might give you digestive symptoms, but most of the time it will not. It's not about, hey, Dr. Martin, my stomach is great. I don't have trouble with my gut. Yeah, but you could have leaky gut. You could have a compromise at the southern border. And it only takes 1 5-day use of antibiotics to strip away, carpet bomb all your good bacteria in your gut. 5 days. Okay? And then what happens? You have to continue the story because something happens. When you don't have enough friendly bacteria, they were showing through COVID, by the way. Okay? People who got COVID had no bifidobacteria. Was wiped out. That's why I was telling everyone, get on probiotics. But anyway, the gut, the microbiome, antibiotics can save your life, but you better take care, because otherwise, okay, again, let me just tell you about the Trojan horse. Not that you've never heard about this. I talk about it all the time, but it's really important to get this down. Really important to get this down. When you do not have enough friendly bacteria, okay, and the bad guys win, you get an invasion of the Trojan horse. It's called yeast, Candida albicans, very specific type of fungus, Candida. It invades. And now, because you have a compromised southern border, it will invade your body. And it goes everywhere where you have mucus, especially. Well, it travels in the blood, but it loves to end up in your sinuses. It loves your brain. It loves your lungs. It loves your skin. What do you think, guys? Okay? What do you think eczema is? What do you think psoriasis is? What do you think autoimmune is? Why does your body, for example, in Crohn's, okay, let me give you an example. Why is your body producing antibodies? Why is your gut producing antibodies? Auto-immune. Why do we see so much of that today? Why does your thyroid, guys, why does it produce antibodies against itself? You talk about friendly fire, but it's an invasion, guys, inside the body. It's one of the biggest factors. It's when your borders are compromised. And one of the biggest things, and I've been saying it for so long, for 40 years or more, antibiotics are the greatest discovery of the 20th century, but the curse of the 21st. I link that, guys, mental health, I'm coming back. They say in this study depression, and I've said over the years, it is a huge factor in autism. It's a huge factor. I never saw an autistic kid in my office that didn't have a severe leaky gut and a severe invasion of the Third Army Candida. I never saw a case of it. And I saw thousands of autistic kids. And it's sort of the straw that breaks the camel's back. Mommy might have been on antibiotics before or during the pregnancy. And if you don't replace that bacteria, guys, you're in deep doo-doo. And I know the message is often repeated, but I mean it. These studies, it's taken years for the studies to come out on the double-edged sword of antibiotics. Now, there's other factors, but I'm just saying these are studies on antibiotics. They looked at kids. They take antibiotics. One of the biggest reasons is for ear infections, and you can understand it. You got a child. You got a baby. The baby won't stop crying. They got an earache. And man, I'm a big baby when I get an earache. Okay? I lost my hearing in my right ear when I was a kid from an ear infection. I remember that pain like it was, I think I was 10 years old. You know? So, what did they do? The doc, well, you got an ear infection. Let's put you on antibiotics. I know a lot of good doctors that don't do that. They say, no, I'm going to give painkillers and an antihistamine to unblock the pressure in the ears, and rather than put you on an antibiotic, because they know it's not bacterial, it's viral. But most doctors never got the memo on that. So you got a huge problem in our society today. And you go, okay, because it doesn't happen right away. You don't connect the dots. Like, what's psoriasis got to do with antibiotics? What is eczema? Okay? What is chronic sinusitis and postnasal drip and like even recurring UTIs in women? I saw tens of thousands of women. I said, well, let's break the cycle of the recurring UTIs. Let's break this cycle. Because I said, here's what happened. You got a urinary tract infection. You took an antibiotic. And you didn't know this, but a yeast, the invasion of the army, went to your bladder. And it now is coating your bladder. It loves moisture. Remember, yeast is a cousin of mold. They're first cousins. Where does mold go? Oh, in my bathroom, in the basement where we had water coming through. We got mold. Yeah. Well, yeast is a cousin, first cousin. It loves moisture. The bladder is a perfect place for it to set up shop. So what happened is that you wiped out your friendly bacteria because you used an antibiotic. It carpet bombed the southern border, and the yeast leaked into your bladder. You killed all the friendly bacteria. And look, you had a urinary tract infection. Am I saying you wouldn't take an antibiotic? Here's a couple of things that I've said over the years. I was right about this, by the way. When you take an antibiotic, they'll tell you to finish it. Even today, in spite of all the evidence that that isn't true, they'll still tell you to finish that antibiotic today because they don't want the bacteria to come back. That was their thinking. But it was never based on science. It wasn't true. You take an antibiotic until the major symptoms go away, and then you stop it. Because, and science agrees with that. Like I said, even pharmacists haven't got the memo on that. Because, oh no, finish it. I'm giving you 7 days. Take all of it. I don't agree with that. And the new research shows, no, don't do that. You got a urinary tract infection. And here's another thing that bothered me a lot about that. I said, I have a urinary tract infection. So patients have come in the office, okay, and said, oh, by the way, I have a urinary tract. Yeah, I said, I can see that. You got leukocytes in your urine. Is it painful? No. But my doctor put me on antibiotics. I get a migraine. You had no pain? No. But my urine showed leukocytes. I want to scream. You're killing all your friendly bacteria. It's going to reoccur because in the lining of your bladder, you are setting up a fungus, a yeast. And you're going to have one reoccurrence after another reoccurrence. Don't. I said, look, take it for a few days. If you got no pain, don't even take it. Just load yourself up with probiotics, friendly bacteria. That'll keep your yeast at bay. And don't feed it. Yeast has a one-track mind, guys. Feeds on sugar. It don't feed on anything else. Okay? Yeast needs sugar. And don't get me going on cancer. There are not many, but some pathologists that tell you every cancer is a fungus. You're hearing now that every cancer is a parasite. I'm not saying no. I think it's more complicated than that. But it's certainly a factor. So, in the 1920s, they discovered antibiotics. It saved millions of people's lives. One of the greatest discoveries in medicine. Hallelujah. You have sepsis. And they put you on an antibiotic, even in an IV. Absolutely. But it's a double-edged sword. The sword that will save your life, the side of that sword that will save your life, the other side will kill you, but it's going to be slow. And nobody, well, I shouldn't say nobody because we're reading studies here, but most people never in medicine connect the dots. Doctors are so focused, guys, because of their training. They're focused. You got an infection, fix it. You know, it's like passing the buck. Like down the road, if you got problem, who said that? Who's Dr. Martin anyway? What kind of a kook is he? Leaky gut? They still don't teach it in medicine. It's one of the greatest frontiers in medicine, but they're not teaching it in medical school. Yet, they don't teach nutrition, and they don't teach leaky gut. Imagine that. It's scary. It scares me, the thought of that. And God loved those doctors. The ones that read, that study, that first question they have, or the first thing they realize when they're doctors. I've met people like this, met very good doctors. You know what? I don't know everything. Okay, I was well trained, but I don't know anything in nutrition. And I'm not going to rely on sending people out to dietitians. How about I do some training in nutrition? I've had doctors like over and over again on, I think I conked out there for a minute. I think our power went off. Okay.
It just came back on.
Okay. And anyway, I don't know why the power went out here, but can you still give me the thumbs up if you can still hear me and see me? I think we're all right. It tried to reset here. Okay? If you can hear me and see me, give me a little emoji. Okay. Anyway, we're just about done anyway. I thought I would get a little longer. Okay, you can hear me and see me good. That's what I wanted to know. Okay. Anyway. Fascinating, isn't it? Fascinating. What this study of the microbiome. Okay? I wrote about this in several of my books. Even in kids, like one of the greatest, scourges in our society today, think of it. One of the worst plagues in our society today is autistic kids. What families haven't been affected by that? When I was in school in the 70s, Autism? What? What is it? Never even heard of it. Now, I know there was mentally challenged children. But autism? One out of, what are they at now? 1 out of 18 kids born are autistic, given the diagnosis? What have we done, guys? What have we done? Because we can't even think outside the box for a minute. It's so ingrained. It's so ingrained into medicine and the pharmaceutical companies. And they do wonderful things, okay? Please, don't come after me. I'm not one of these, you never take a drug in your life. I'm not one of them. Don't put me in that category, because I'm not. You need an antibiotic. I went out again. Okay. Anyways, anyway, our Wi-Fi's probably not on. Okay. I'm going to end it, guys, because, we're having some technical difficulties. Anyway, we love you guys. You know that. Tomorrow, remember, is going to be Q&A. So it's not too late. Send your questions in. info@martinclinic.com. Okay? Friday off. Traveling. If you're anywhere near West Tennessee, near University of Tennessee, Martin, it was named after me. Okay? Then, okay. Would love to see you if you can make it out there, okay? I know we have some listeners from that area because they say hello to us. Okay. We love you guys and talk to you soon.